Hello everyone, it is the 7th update for Cali. She has now been with us for, I can't remember how many weeks. I'm gonna have to check the height chart. For 7, yeah, so, okay, she's been, that makes sense. She's 14 weeks old, which is what I was planning to say. What's her little height chart? So she's growing. Okay, so that was her biggest spurt there, but it's pretty much stable, which I'm very happy with because you don't want a puppy shooting up and then hurts their joints. It's like teenagers, if they shoot up then they get all achy and sore. Same with pups. So what's happening? Well, I think you've outgrown your beds. That is the first 2 beds we originally got her. They were both actually the cat's beds. That's how small she was when she came. Hey, what are you doing? Do you want up? You gonna stay there? She's looking at me very curiously. So yeah, both beds were the cat's beds, and she liked them because they both had sort of rims around them. Like she could snuggle into them and press her back up against them. She seems to really like that. So she sort of took them, and there were 2 of them. There's one that's like a little, we call it a donut. It's a little ring basically, and it's got a nice cushy bottom, and she loves to snuggle into that. And there was also like a proper little basket for a cat, with, you know, a nice fleecy lining and a nice rim that she liked. And I brought one of them into work, and today she was spilling out of it, and I had to get a blanket and sort of fold it up to act as a pillow because her head wasn't going to fit anywhere in that basket. So yeah, she's growing, she's getting lankier. She likes to pull faces, she likes to smile. She looks very weird sometimes. And what I absolutely love, is she has eyebrows, but she's very, very expressive eyebrows. So you can tell whenever she's confused or she's happy or she's thinking, which I like. We haven't really had any problems this week. Still working on the food thing. So we got some good hardcore advice from Carol, and we're working on the chews. Today she was actually able to eat a chew. It wasn't a low chew, it was a medium, well, between medium and low, on the chew scale. So 1 being 10 being it's the best thing ever, don't ever touch me, which is sort of the best way to describe it. So as you may see in the last video, she wasn't, I said food aggressive, I mixed that up, it was food possessiveness, which is fair enough. I think the best way to describe that is if you gave Carol a box of chocolates and then tried to take it away from her, you might get bitten. It's the same thing with dogs. If they find something that they really, really like, then it's normal for them to not want to give it back because they really like it and they're having fun eating it or chewing it or whatever. So it's normal. Even puppy Gus, as hopefully you have all read in Gus's very interesting puppy diary, he went through it too. It's normal for puppies. It's just important you fix it as soon as possible. So that's what I'm trying to do. So I've got a lot of time I'll be holding the chew and she's chewing it away, and then I'll swap. I'll take it away and give her a couple really nice treats. So far it's ham or teeny bits of like cheddar cheese, which seems to work quite well. She growled twice today whenever I was doing it, so that's a lot lower, and the growls weren't as proper. They didn't mean as much. They weren't great, they weren't happy growls, but they were less meaningful, which is what we're aiming for. It's just for it to go down a couple of notches. So there was a bit of an incident. I had her, I was working with her and her Kong in work, and one of the folk who work there came in with his dog, and I'm not calling out names because there's a possibility that he might watch this, and I said, sorry, just keep your dog away. Callie's having is having her Kong right now. I don't want her to do anything. Well, this is where the extendable lead things comes in. He had an extending lead on, didn't get it locked on time. The dog walked up to her and she wasn't happy. She was sort of, I don't think she would have bit, but she went forward, which is fair enough. To me, it's a bit of it was the other dog came right into her space, like right into her face, because she's also a foodie dog. So this other dog came, this is Cali, it came right up, and Cali went, no. So, that was a little bit awkward, but I did try, and I didn't give her the Kong back for a little while until she cooled off, and then I did it back whenever we got home. I did a bit more work on it, and she was fine after that. So, yeah, you're a bit of a boss, aren't you? But she's a nice boss. So what else has been happening? We've been doing our training, doing a lot of lead work. She's not too bad. She's actually quite good. She's normally very good, but again, Carol, when you watch this, your next book is going to be titled Pesky Public. Please. Oh my goodness. There isn't a day I don't get mobbed by someone or something to pet my dog. Believe it or not, I don't want everyone in the world to pet my dog. I am busy working on my dog to be more interested in me and not the entire universe. And I know if you come to any of our classes, we will do the rant that could last 15 to 20 minutes because it annoys us so much that people don't care about us doing our work. We're trying our very best to get more good dogs in this world, because now the laws say that if you are intimidated by a dog, you can sue that person. Well, sue, I think, prosecute, whatever, something to do with the law, and you can go at that person and possibly get that dog restricted, put a muzzle on it, or, things that aren't necessary, because people are now being quite rude and not asking to pet a dog. The thing is, with dogs, you don't know. It's not your dog. You don't know if that dog is having a bad day, or if it's just had surgery, or maybe it's a bit timid. Maybe it's just come out of a shelter and it's still getting used to the world, because who knows what happened to it. There's so many different things that could have happened to every single dog out there that it's wrong for you to assume that every dog wants petted. So as much as I do love my dog, and I like people knowing that she's very nice, I'm being quite rude to the public now. If you start coochie cooing and calling my dog, I'm going to do my very best to completely ignore you. I know that seems so rude, but I don't want my dog to run forward and possibly nip you or your child or an elderly person, or trip someone up because she's got excited because you've been calling her. There's so many little accidents that can turn big whenever someone distracts a dog. So I've been doing a lot of work with her, and she's doing so well. And it's so annoying because I'm working so hard on my dog, and then there's other people that just don't care. They can see I am wearing my treat pouch, I am talking to her, I have my lead nice and loose, I'm working with her, I'm talking to her, I'm giving her treats, I'm working my very best, and even then they still come up into my space and her space and completely wreck it all. There are times where I have put my hand in people's faces, doing the stop, I am doing some training with my dog. Or I would say she doesn't feel like meeting people today, or she's having an off day, or sorry, she isn't feeling well. Because she wasn't feeling well a couple of days ago. She had a bit of a sore stomach, and we presume she had eaten a pebble and she had passed it through, but it had cut something inside her quite close to her bum. As disgusting as it sounds, it is what we think happened, and she was pooping a little bit of blood because that had cut inside her. So she wasn't feeling well, and we had to be careful with her because she was rough and tumble or getting amped up. Whenever it's that type of thing, you have to take it easy and don't make things worse. So that's what I've been doing. I've been ignoring people, and especially children. If you are a parent out there that has a child, drill it into your child that if you see someone with a dog, don't start screaming. Please don't start screaming, because the worst thing is, I'm working so hard on my dog to pay attention to me, and then your child starts making very high-pitched noises. My dog is going to want to look at that. Naturally, they're going to want to look at that because it's so high-pitched. Because as we all know, like toddlers, they can make some pretty high-pitched noises. And I'm busy working on my dog, trying so hard for her to only want to look at me, because I should be the most important thing when we're out on a walk. You know, it's really hard, and that is the biggest problem I'm having with, is people just waltzing in expecting me to be completely fine with you petting my dog without asking me, without asking the dog, without even... I had someone, I was in the middle of turning a corner, and I had someone behind me come up and just start touching her. She near jumped out of her skin. She could have nipped. There's some people, it's really riling me up now. Like, no one cares. I've had 2 people so far ask me if it's okay to pet my dog. 2 people. I've had her 7 weeks. And there's been 2 people, public people other than Carol and Gareth, that are well known. Carol, Gareth and Amanda and Shane, the other 2 people I work with in grooming. Those are the 4 people that I know that ask all the time. But only whenever I'm walking, only 2 public people that I don't know have asked, can I pet your dog? How sad is that? That's like running up to a child and just start pinching their cheeks or hugging them without asking the parent. The parent would get severely concerned, ask for your details, and probably chase after you because that sounds really weird. You know, you don't do that. That's no different for a dog. A dog is my dog is my child. I'm happy to admit that. It is my first dog. She is absolutely adored and probably spoiled a little bit. But spoiled with reason, of course. So, I might just be able to take over Carol's rant because I'm riled up. It's really annoying. I try so hard, and there's so many people that are just happy and oblivious to ruin that. And after so many times of trying, it really does start to annoy you. It really does start to get to you. It's just, you can see me working. Just leave me alone. They just think because it's a cute puppy, it just wants petted all the time. She doesn't. Trust me, she doesn't. If she wants her space, that's fine. Right now, she is very happy lying in the corner of my, just in the corner, just beside me on my bed, in her little donut bed, fast asleep. That is her time, and I'm absolutely fine with that. She's been at work all day with me, so she's probably tired. You know, not every dog wants petted by every single person in the world. I feel rude because there's some people that have got in way too close, and I have very nearly smacked them on the nose with my hand, saying, "I'm sorry. I don't even apologize anymore. That's sad." I said, "Sorry." So, sometimes I sorry. It depends on the person if I say sorry. Today there was an elderly woman. I did say sorry because she's elderly. But for some of the younger folk, 20s or so, that are just really, really obnoxious, I say, "I'm doing some training with her right now. Sorry." I'm saying sorry in this, but I don't usually say sorry because I'm overthinking it and I'm annoyed. But it's usually something along the lines of, "She doesn't feel like meeting today, maybe next time." And then we walk on. I try to say it as nicely as possible so that I don't offend people, but at the same time, they shouldn't have walked up into my space. It's one of those things where you're fighting against so many people that just don't know or don't care. You could tell everyone, and then there'll still be that little pile of people that just don't care. How are you sleeping like that? Her bed is here and she's like slithering out of it. I don't know how that's comfortable. So that is my biggest problem at the moment, is pesky public. It's especially if she's wearing her jumper, then there's so many more people that come for her because jumpers and dogs are cute. And it's a puppy. I don't care. Don't pet my dog and don't come into my space. Because my dog might bite and I might bite as well. End of story. It's so annoying because they are undoing so much work that I'm trying to put in. I'm trying to keep her nice and calm whenever we're out on walks around busy areas. Because when you think I work in Ards and we do a loop from the pet shop I work at, Cloud Canine, so we do a loop, we come down and then past Conway Square. We usually go to Conway Square so she can have a sniff at the grass. Then down past there and then turn left. So we're going past the opposite side of Knott's. So we usually do sort of a little route because she's young and she can't walk. I don't want to force walks on her too much because she's still growing. So we'll usually do that little loop and go back up the hill and back to the shop. So that works quite well for her. And we don't just plod on and just do it. I always let her sniff. I let her sit down and figure it out because there's buses that are loud. There's motorbikes that are very loud and very weird looking, to be honest, whenever you think of it. Then there's cars, lots of cars. Then there's lorries unloading and making crashing and banging noises. And then there's tons of public, people in Zimmer frames, people with wheelchairs, people with scooters, kids on bikes with stabilizers. And stabilizers are loud when it comes to being on pavements and stuff like that. And there's an overwhelmingly, there's a bunch of smells out there that Cali has probably never smelt in her life. So it's all a lot coming at her all at once. So I like to let her think. And if someone just interrupts her thinking, she might do something she didn't mean because they scared her or interrupted that. And I don't want her to get into that bad habit of nipping or being scared when out on a walk because she's still so young and it's so easy for her to pick up something bad at this stage. So, a plea from me to the public. If you see someone with a puppy, don't assume it wants petted. Please. But, anyway, we had a nice escape from the public on Monday. It was nice. It wasn't nice and dry. It wasn't raining at the time, is the best way to say it. As most of you know, it was quite rainy. There's floods and stuff like that. So we went, I live on a farm, so we went out into the fields for the first time in her life, and we practiced some recall, and she was so good. I would say out of 100, it would have been probably 98%. She didn't come back twice. Whenever she found, I think it was rabbit poop, possibly fox. Thank goodness she didn't roll in it. But she found something extremely interesting, just as I called her. So I called her and then she put her nose down and that was it. She wasn't leaving. But otherwise, she came bounding towards me. I've never seen her so happy to just run to me. She was absolutely in her element. The grass wasn't too long, thank goodness, because it had been cut a couple of probably a month, 2 months ago. So it wasn't too long because if I took her in long grass, you wouldn't have seen a dog. But she was in her element. She absolutely loved it. So we played a couple of games of fetch and then we practiced a lot of recall stuff and she was brilliant. Now she was shattered for the rest of the day, but we only, was it an hour? Maybe it was like 40 minutes of just good recall work. We did some lead off party on. We did, I threw a ball, distracted her, then I went to a different spot and called her and she brought the ball and came at the same time. Brilliant. I was expecting to go for the ball. I didn't care. As long as she came, that was the main thing. But she was an absolute star. So it's nice to escape the public and just do something fun without someone trying to pet my dog. But she loved it. Unfortunately, it did end up in a bath because, as you all know, it was very mucky and very flood-ridden. Oh, it was so funny. Because we have fields, one of them is sort of slightly low-lying, and there's a burst pipe somewhere in the system. We're trying to figure that out. So there's quite a lot of water gathered in this one area. The rest of the field is fine. It's not even squelchy usually. It's there. It drains quite nicely, except from this one little circle in the field. And she didn't know that water could be anywhere else other than a water bowl or a bath. So she wasn't quite sure what to make of this massive puddle. So that got her very intrigued. So she paddled up to it, and I went in a little bit. And it was quite deep. I didn't go fully into it. I went in to about half my welly boot. Otherwise, I reckon it would have gone over the top of my welly boot if I took another 2-3 steps in. That's how bad it was. Plus it was probably quite muddy, so I would have sunk a bit as well. So in my boot, if I wasn't careful. So I just went up to about half my boot, and I just stood there and let her think about it. And I'm not sure whether she thought too much about it or didn't think enough about it, but she didn't understand and stuck her whole head underwater and started blowing bubbles with her nose. I have got a really weird dog that thinks she's a dolphin now. Yeah, so she tried to do that. I was near wetting myself with laughter. It was the funniest thing I've ever seen. And then she lifted her head out of it, gave a bit of a shake, and did it again, and then sneezed underwater. So there's a bunch of bubbles coming up to the water, and my dog has just got her head in the water. She was able to lift her head. She wasn't completely stupid. Thank goodness. So she didn't try to swim in it or anything like that. She was just blowing bubbles with her nose underwater. But she had a whale of a time, and then we had a nice little walk back home. Got a bath because you were bogging. And she was quite mucky, even up to her chest. It was just mud. But I think it's okay for puppies to get mucky. That's part of being a dog. So had a nice little warm bath and popped you in your wee jumper so then you could dry off nicely. And pretty much slept for the rest of the day because it was an adventure, and we were doing new things. Part lead off, party on, stuff like that. Playing a couple of good tuggy games in the field as well. So. Yeah, and you even saw cows. I don't know why I'm talking to you because you're completely asleep. Anyway, so she met some cows, looked at them twice, didn't care. To be fair, she's probably used to big leggy things thanks to one of the dogs at work, at my grooming work. She's very big, so yeah, she didn't care about them. She just walked past them. I didn't let her get too close to the gate because I know she can get under the gate. And I didn't want her potentially getting under the gate and me slipping the lead or something. So I just let her go up to a certain limit, to the lead limit. So I definitely knew she couldn't get under the gate, plus a little bit more, probably like 4 or 5 foot. Just to make sure, because you can't take risks with cattle. And she looked at them, sat down, and then started eating grass. Like a cow. But otherwise, she has been absolutely great this week. No big problems. Still working on the food thing, still working on the public thing, but otherwise completely fine. So, I hope you enjoyed this update / rant, and I hope you all learned something from it. Please, desperately, I am crying with you, learn something from what I have said today, because it is driving me insane. As you will all know if you come to our classes, because Carol will also go insane. So you'll have 2 crazy people, and possibly Gareth. Yeah, I think probably Gareth as well. So you'll have 3 crazy people. Yeah, so hope you've learned. And we will see you in the next update next week for the 8th week. Doesn't feel like that already. It's going too soon and she's growing too quickly. I don't like it. If she could stay small for the rest of her life, that would be quite nice. See you all in the next video. Bye.